Content disclaimer. The views expressed in this video are solely those of the host, collaborator, and contributor and do not necessarily represent the views of Royal Productions OWC LLC. We encourage diverse perspectives and open dialogue. If you have any concerns, please contact us at info@royalproductionsowc.com. Thank you for being a part of the RPOWC community. Good morning, Galaxians. Welcome to another episode of the Hybrid Files Commodified American. We're on season 1, episode 7, the commodification of wealth. Now, some say wealth is when you have your health. Some say wealth is when you have people who love and care about you. Others say wealth is when you have all the latest material things that society values. And it sees it, if you have it, you're valuable. Let's get into it. You know what's commodified about wealth? The pursuit. You know why you're on that hamster wheel called the rat race? Pursuit of wealth. Did you know the game is rigged against you? Did you know that this system of commodification, capitalism, does not work unless there's somebody at the bottom? And how can you keep someone at the bottom if everything about them is hidden except what you see? Now, I want you to put on your villain cap, and I want you to envision creating a world in which you always win. But if you win, someone has to lose. Who would that be? It has to be someone easy, someone that you don't have to exert any type of energy over, someone who will do your dastardly deeds for you against themselves. An indoctrinated, commodified mind. That's who. The people with that. Yes. You can tell them all types of things. Yes. And they'll believe it because they want what they have been conditioned to want. They're open. They're receptive to the commodified and the commodification of themselves. See, the villain sees people at the bottom as product. If you are to be wealthy, like really wealthy, like the conspiracy theories say that certain people at the top are wealthy, certain families at the top are wealthy, yeah, that's going to take a sacrifice of a lot of people staying at the bottom, never getting ahead, but always put under the impression that the pursuit is real. Okay, let's look at some examples. I'm going to bring this up into more depth, but people want to be famous these days. Celebrity is a commodity. Did you know that? Yes. I won't get into it here, but I will use it as an example. So, you become an influencer, and on the internet, you hope that whatever you say or whatever you do catapults you into everybody's eye space. Eye space. Yeah, that's what you hope. Because with that, you assume that there is money to be made. For certain scenarios, yes. Certain influencers, sure. It really depends on the ever-changing, ever-moving algorithm, what works and what does not work. It literally changes. And you're not in control of that. So it seems to be a mystery, something that you can put a pinpoint on. But since you're not running the machine, it's kind of interesting that you continue to believe that you're in control of the machine. You're not in control of the algorithm. You know what an algorithm is? It's a recipe. That's all. And you're not writing the recipe. You're trying to guess the recipe. And the recipe always changes. And you're not privy to that. Um, you can get little snippets here. You might talk to somebody who gives you a little insight, but they're not telling everybody who's on the app. They're not telling everybody. You got to figure that shit out. And then they change it once you figure it out because it can't be stale. It can't go stale. And, we don't want the wrong people being famous. And wrong is very subjective adjective, by the way. I mean, how does any of this, the pursuit, um, the engagement, how does any of this work if there aren't people at the bottom who lose at doing it? Everybody can't be wealthy in a system that is only created for a few to be at the top. And the top is a small area. Everybody can't be on there. So the commodification of the pursuit of wealth, yeah, that's a setup. But you go and you get it because maybe you know the right people and you've ingratiated yourself to them and they say, yes, I shall deem you worthy of this place we occupy. But once you occupy it, you can never betray the place you occupy. You become kind of assumed and absorbed into a space where there isn't really freedom like you would think if you had wealth. You have an allowed privilege. And what privilege is, something that is extended to you because you meet certain criteria. Huh? But it also means that privileges can be rescinded. Rescinding something means taking it back. Once it is deemed that you no longer fit the criteria of receiving that privilege. Now, that could be anything. It's literally like the algorithm, something that you chase and wonder how I had it for like a year, 2 years. I had that algorithm pinned down. I had the one, the two, the ingredients, the number, the amount. I had all the things, and then the recipe changed. Unbeknownst to me, it changed. Okay. Does that seem that wealth is available to you when the algorithm changes for the system of criteria? I believe there's a group of people running around here going through a type of dissonance with their awareness of self and identity and not understanding that the privileges are going through a little bit of a of a of a rescinding because they were used by others who see themselves better than. And those groups of people not quite meeting the muster, where you get derogatory phrases such as white trash. White black people didn't bring up that. That was not a black people made up phrase. That was white people made that shit up about other white people that didn't display the criteria, the proper behavior of a white person. You are not the right type of white and you do not fit here. Now, what you can do is be useful. You will never be up here. You will never be here with us. No. This level of wealth is not for you, but I will give you a privilege. But you almost always put yourself into comparison with another human being who looks different than you. That's it. That's it. Until they said, oh, you've, you know, exhausted your usefulness. I really don't care about your fucking identity problems that I created within you. Saying that, hey, you're better than this person when you're actually quite equal. There's really no difference. I just wanted to use you because you're just easy. I saw it in that glimpse of the eye, you know. I always say, me, this is just me separately from apart from the character I'm literally giving you right now. I believe that that which we call the devil, it really does only have access to you because you got stair steps literally welcoming him in there shit. In that shit, you know? Like, you judgy? Huh? Are you of the mindset that you are above everyone else and there's no equality to you, to anyone? And then you wonder why that type of mentality just runs amok and puts you at a lower place because you actually thought you could out villain the villain. You can't do that. See, only a certain, only a specific type of person can literally pull this type of system off and make sure they win all the time. You literally have to divest yourself from your own humanity in order to get that level of wealth. You have to be cold and callous and unconcerned, unbothered about anything that's going on with any other human being. They literally have statements that say, do not associate with people with no money because they will bring you down. Okay. But what happened to about being part of the human race and, seeing them as something? But I'm not telling you to throw away your sense of survival, but you got to admit it's quite convenient that you can literally separate yourself from the very species God saw fit to put you in. You know you're a human being, right? You're not separate and apart. That's an illusion. That's a lie. The thing that is holding up the lie is this false construct of race, false construct of civility. There's no such thing as civilization. There's just a collective agreement. And once that agreement is no longer feasible to uphold, you go back to where it was before. And then everybody's like all fucked up and not probably going to have a very good time. And they're not going to be too long for this world because if it goes into the point of quote unquote chaos, which is it's not, that's a perspective thing. That's not chaos. That's just a natural system that you're not smart enough to get because you didn't take the time because you see nature in all of its machinations as something to contend with, not something to be in flow and harmony with. And that's fine. I mean, we will do whatever you want, reject whatever you want. You apparently you're breaking whatever you want, but that pursuit of wealth is a carrot protocol. Put the carrot in front of them, and they'll always be focused on that carrot. They won't be focused on the very reason that they were supposed to be put here, which is to be and exist and enjoy the existence of living and being a human being and being in relationship with other human beings and being in good relationship with yourself and being in good relationship with the environment, the globe, the earth, right? Nah, fuck the earth. The earth is my enemy. It must be tamed. It must be wrangled. It must be oppressed, suppressed, and repressed. It is wild. It is chaotic because you don't have the mindset to how to get through that shit. So you reduced it. There was wealth, there was abundance, there was no such thing as a poverty class. People who cannot see themselves unless they have their foot on your neck are not people to care about. It's like lamenting for the vampire who can't see his reflection and you literally want to give him sympathy because and you want to give up your neck, huh? You want to be vampire victim. You know how they seduce you into that mentality. I'm telling you, it's all commodification. They seduce you with scenarios and music and all of that stuff. It's a psychological mind fuck, honey. You're under a psychological mind fucking. You're supposed to feel that you fit here, not that you're divided and separate. You're supposed to feel that you are always in a place of abundance. That's supposed to be your natural state. That was the original natural state. And then somebody who was very small, who had the ability to manipulate other people's mindsets, master manipulator, against their own selves and change their minds against it. No, let's do this. And I really don't have anything against agriculture or farming. It's just that it does lead to um, a type of psychological conditioning that something's always going to be there when it's not. And then you get into a place where you have a drought or you can't make the crops go because you've literally exhausted the space of land. You keep tilling and tilling and tilling, even though you've practiced best practices for agriculture, right? And now you get to this place where you can't even farm unless, you have the ability to get a loan, that middleman bullshit, right? I don't know how you get out of it. We're literally in a vast warehouse of shit, and the doors are like miles away. The windows in which you get out of it are miles away. You have to swim through shit in order to get out of it, right? If you think that the pursuit of wealth, it really depends on what you define it as. Like I said at the beginning of this, some people see wealth as having their health intact and well balanced and well managed. Some people see wealth as having people who love and care about them. And some people see wealth as material. Yeah, a person who's happy and is not ambitious is not seen to be of value and is seen to not have anything, even though they're quite content with not having anything. But somehow that's a loser's, um, that's the definition of a loser, someone who's satisfied. You're always supposed to be in need, but who does that serve at the end of the day? Put on your villain mindset. I want you to put on your villain mindset, your villain, and profile the villain mindset. I need people who want to do this and will not stop. I want hungry people. I want ambitious people. I want people who will not ever stop. I need lack to be within them so that they never stop. I want them to be as hungry and as insatiable as me because I can manipulate that shit. Stair steps. Stair steps. Those are stair steps. Psychological manipulation from the society in which you live that indoctrinates you that you need a fiat currency. It's not real money. It's not based on anything, based on debt and oil that somebody can literally take away from you or the country, right? They can take it away. That which we've based it on, they can take it away and they're taking it away. BRICS is a real thing. Um, they tell you you can only have one type of family. That's the only definition of wealth. You can only have one type of self-concept. That's the only person you need to be. You can't be the thing or the person that God has made you. You have to be what society tells you to be. And who you are authentically be the damn. You need to fit here. I don't see, as a Black person who finds themselves in America, I don't see anything wrong with Scottish people, Irish people, Italian people, German people. Any of those people who are non-melanated that are in their culture because of the land and the history of that land and all of the stuff that went on in that land that gave them the culture that which is to me just another problem solving tool that literally informed them how they had to interact with themselves, interact with the environment, external environment, and other people. I have no problem with that. It's when you start collecting yourselves into this construct so that you can be above other human beings and dictate for those human beings how life should be for them. There are 8 billion people on the planet. You really think 8 billion people fit in one construct? One mold. Women are only one way, men are only one way. When nature literally gives you and tells you the answers right in front of your face and you say fuck nature. Nature is an enemy. It must be destroyed. Like we had wealth of food, but now you can't find a tree that bears fruit unless you you're lucky and you got a house with a fruit tree that's literally controlled by you. But if you look at the cities, there's no fruit bearing fruit that bear fruit for free because the powers that be want to control that. So how is that wealthy? How are you enjoying that wealth? We are a wealthy nation, but it's not the people that are at the bottom that are wealthy. It is the wealthy. It is the people who control the system, that define the system, that give you the terminology, that give you your identity, that gives you things from the outside in. It has nothing to do with who the fuck you are at the end of the day. You feel wealthy or do you feel hungry, like you can't satiate? Is that a part of your mentality that you can be satisfied or you never can be satisfied? And if you never can be satisfied, what the fuck are you doing this for? There's no end. Like I said in the last video, there used to be a time for a human being when their efforts directly benefited them. It wasn't a middleman culture in place. You learned something that benefited you because it solved a problem. You built it. So human beings aren't lazy. They've just been put in an unnatural system. They've been put in an unnatural system. They've been put in an unnatural system that literally is a carrot system for those who are at the bottom so they can stay at the bottom because they're chasing the carrot, right? If you want wealth, opt out of the system that prevents you from having it, like in mass. It doesn't work as individuals. It has to be collectively and it has to be at once. You have to say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not showing up for this anymore. I'm out. Doesn't take violence, doesn't take bloodshed. You just stop. Just like the pandemic showed you, that was a gift. That was a gift of perspective. And your perspective changed. And all you had to do was keep going. And you would have been absolved because they started it. They told you to say, okay, well, I'm not coming back. The essential workers, yeah, wow. That would have been powerful if they had said, I value my life more than I value this store. I value my life more than I value that paycheck. And and the reason why individuality is pushed so damn much is because you can't make a community with individuals. Hyper individuals, you can't make community with that. They don't trust each other. Hyper individuals don't trust easy. It's hard to be in relationship with hyper individuals because they trust themselves and they don't trust anybody else. But our very nature, the way God made us, is that we are supposed to value and be in relationship with one another. But we have been um, mind fucked into this way of living, thinking that's a natural way, and it's not. Pursue wealth, pursue wealth, pursue wealth. Not everybody can be wealthy in the system. It doesn't work that way. You need a bottom in order to have a top. That's the lie of the system. Hierarchy doesn't work with human beings, it works with things. But if your commodified mind, if your mind is commodified, rather, then you can see yourself as a thing, and then you can see yourself as fitting in a hierarchy. You're not. Bring back the pandemic. Have control over the thing that distresses you so much and make it instantly stop. You don't have that type of that's not your zhuzh. It really isn't. You can make yourself delusional as all you want. And I know some people on here, on these interwebs and platforms say delusion is the way, delulu is the way. I worry that you're going to meet something in the ether that will literally shatter that delusion because it's just not going to work the way you thought it was supposed to work. See, this system can only crash when it is no longer given attention. Just like some of those manifestations says, but we give this attention, we give it consent, we participate, and we don't opt out collectively. We expect some hero to come and do this for it. It doesn't work that way. There are no heroes. There are no superheroes. There are humans who have a very visceral reaction to the system that they're in, and the villain sees their visceral reaction and they mind fuck them harder into thinking, hey, there are these roles that you can play to, you know, make you feel better. And then we'll call you a hero. Well, if the system didn't exist, everybody could do that because it would be seen as a collective duty to do it. Keeping groups safe, either from fire, from bad actors, from environmental collapses that are natural for nature, but human beings are not the wisest, are not the sharpest tools in the shed. I mean, if you're going to keep on building on a cliff that's literally wasting away and get mad because you keep having to rebuild on a cliff that is literally showing you nature wins every time, and you just like, no, we will rebuild. Living on in Tornado Alley, we gonna rebuild. Okay, some people think wealth has to do with the intelligence. If you got your mind and it's working right for you, you're wealthy because you can have all the ideas. You can make anything come to light because you have the intelligence to make anything come to light. That's wealth. That's a type of wealth. But in America, we are commodified to believe the pursuit is natural. You're going to get it. But what is wealthy to you? Like how much money is enough? If you get six figures, is it gonna be enough? Is America gonna let it be enough? That's a bigger question. Because there are six-figure motherfuckers earning in San Francisco, and they are now considered at poverty level because of inflation. You can live like a king on a smaller salary someplace else and get all your things met, your health met, your human flourishing needs met. You demonstrate that on a whole different level. You're friendlier. You're not so in fight or flight, or I gotta, distrust this other person. You're just in a whole different environment when you're not in an environment that sees you as product. There are other environments on the globe that will see you as a person. They might have their prejudices, sure, but they'll see you as a person. As a state, as an institution, as a country, they'll see you as a person. But this country, oh my God, it sees you as a product. You are a product, and they don't want to let go of their product. They are literally addicted to the way the system works. And the way the system works is cheap labor, keep the distraction going, Make sure people are individuals and not collective. Collective, we don't want that. We barely like unions. We don't like them. Get you thinking that you got power, which we don't want you to think. We want you chasing that wealth carrot because then you'll be compliant. You'll behave. You won't get along line. You'll say what we want you to say, and you'll never be a problem. I mean, I need you to really put on your villain hat and profile the motherfucker. That's what I need you to do when you're thinking about wealth. This fictitious construct that's literally made on different demonstrations that are very myopic and very, very narrow representations of wealth. It ain't got shit to do with your humanity. It has everything to do with the product, because once you fit those molds, you become something to sell to. You become a data package that is literally sold. You become a data package that is consumed by those who see themselves as the consumer of you in this system as a package. What do you think demographics are? It's little packages. It's not who you are as a person. Do you think a demographic tells everybody else in the ether and the collective who the fuck you are? No, it does not. And it keeps you away from finding out who the fuck you are. That's literally an effort instead of something that's spiritually, that you're ushered into spiritually through the tribe and everybody supporting you. That don't happen. Not in the way that it should. Not as a societal configuration, not as a societal feature. Wealth wealth in America is a product, and it is advertised by those who they see as safe to elevate. Now, people believe the indoctrination that you just have to work hard, you have to do all the right things. Okay, there are a lot of people doing that. There's some really good motherfuckers doing a lot of hard shit on a daily, and they get nowhere. They have no money. They are homeless at the end of the day. They are homeless and don't have the audacity to be disabled or mentally challenged. Fuck you, because that's not America. America aren't a bunch of collective of broken people. Broken people. They're, human beings can't be broken. There's no brokenness. But in America there is. And God help you if you broken. Fuck you if you broken. Fuck you if you broken. You had the audacity to be broken. This is not what America is. America is about perfection and always doing, always hungry, never stopping, always doing what's hard, never doing what edifies you or feeds you. So fuck all that shit. Fuck all that feeling shit. Fuck all that bullshit. Mm-mm. Get the money, pursue the money. It's about the money. And the money is made up. It's literally paper. That's it. And it's going to be rendered useless in a couple of years. And then what? Then how do you get your wealth? How do you do that? The systems that you were relied on, that your parents relied on, that your parents' parents relied on, just gets weakened and weakened and weakened and weakened and weakened. A slow moving thing to keep you in the mindset that, no, it can work out, and it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. This is literally an unsustainable construct. It does not work forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And there is no. It doesn't work forever and ever and ever. There is an end to this. It will not be pretty, but yeah. What do you think land acquisition is about? Wealth, the false construct of wealth. Do you know you're on earth, therefore you have the land, but because somebody's perception that it must keep away and keep people from existing and moving among the land freely because you are on earth, apparently that's not good enough. You need to go through them, middleman culture, in order to have land, although you occupy earth, which is land and water. It's literally everywhere. But middleman culture says you have to go through something, go through somebody in order to get it. Before we didn't have to. That was a direct. You move, you go, you there, you occupy. Boom. And then, a couple of people wanted to stay there because they got tired of being nomadic. But it takes a certain type of person that's always moving and never sits still. That's literally in the flow of life. Life does not sit still, it moves around. And that is evident in nature. And nature is wealthy. It is so wealthy that it can literally get rid of us and the earth will be fine. Wouldn't you say that's wealth? That you can literally eliminate a species, make the environment inhospitable, and be fine? Isn't that a type of wealth? I would say nature's pretty wealthy. If it can live without humans, it's pretty fucking wealthy. Has all the resources it needs. It doesn't need to be showy and have all this greenery and all this oxygen and all this human friendly air. Doesn't need to do that. It's not going to fall out of the solar system and stop its orbit because we ain't here. You really think that? Are you of the mindset that the earth is dying? The earth is not dying. We're not that powerful. We are self destructive. We are that powerful, but we're not powerful enough to end the earth. That's That's a little arrogant. We are not that powerful. What we are is self-destructive. We're literally doing this. We're literally slapping ourselves and asking, "Well, what's that? What's happening? Why am I getting slapped? Motherfucker, you slapping yourself." Huh? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not slapping myself. I just wish it would stop. Bubba, you slapping yourself. I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's crazy. Crazy. No, not me. The earth is dying. There's something happening, and it's making the earth die. The earth is not going to die. There's no such thing as a dead earth. It means inhospitable to human life as we know it. Maybe we'll be mole people. I don't know. Maybe we'll all be white because we'll all be in the darkness. I don't know. And there will be no need for melanin as, things that's where we're going. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be any, step-ins and haltings or I shall stop this happening anytime soon. But I really think nature is going to pipe up in such a way, and diseases are part of nature, right? Viruses, part of nature. Nature has a wealth of things, a wealth. Because it isn't a wealth if you're thinking about it. It is about having a plethora, an abundance of something. Nature has an abundance of everything, even things we have not encountered yet. Things that had put in deep freeze. Now, don't you think that's wealthy? I think that's wealthy. And nature is a wealthy bitch. And she's a wealthy bitch. And you should consider yourself lucky because sometimes she's a forgetful wealthy bitch. But then she remembers. And then she's like going about her business and then you fucked. But wealth and the commodification of it and the commodification of pursuing it is a trick. Is to get you to comply to things that are unnatural to you, to get you to forget who you are as a human being, to get you to go against your own natural psychological machinations that say, "Oh, I just do this thing get good at this skill set and I benefit. No, no, no. You get good at this thing, you master this skill set and somebody else benefits, not you. You just get this money. I mean, you tell me what wealth is. Because there's different definition. It's a very subjective term. It is not, everybody does not think the same way about wealth. Everybody does not think the same thing about wealth, because when you think about wealth in America, wealth is purses. Wealth is Birkin bags and Louis Vuitton bags. Wealth is fashion that literally sits in a closet, may get worn once if shoes may get worn once if uh, you, what is it called it, amorphosize, or when you put human characteristics to an inanimate object. Buying cars, collecting cars, that you only can drive one a day or one at one time. Multiple rooms, large ass mansions. Oh, okay. You're one person. Are you planning on having a 20 person family living in there with you, or is it just you? It takes up a large slot of land, and it's okay. Okay. But that's wealth. That's what's advertised as wealth. Have the right husband, the right type of kids, the right type of schooling, the right type of house, right type of car, right type of neighborhood, right type of address, right type of clicks and networks and all this stuff. That's wealth. That's what wealth is. And it literally separates you from the rest of the human race. It dehumanizes you. And then you want to get mad at people who you literally said you must stay at the bottom in order for me to be wealthy. In order for me to be wealthy, there has to be somebody who is not wealthy. That's how that construct works. And then you want to look down on them and say, you just need to be wealthy like me, bitch. It doesn't work like that. There are people who have to be poor in order for you to be rich. There are people who have to be suffering and in the gutter in order for you to be a billionaire. You have to be a user. You have to be someone who participates in the destructive nature of being a wealthy person. It is not an altruistic state or level. You have to hurt people in order to have that level of wealth. And you have to be okay with that. Hence, you get language like, "Well, I don't mess with those people. Those are low class people. They're people. God made them just like they made you, but unfortunately, God made you better." That bullshit. But I don't see any powers of walking on water, bringing back the dead, and literally knowing everything. Because I thought that's what made you better than anybody else. If you're going to be better than anybody else, those are the skill sets I'm looking for. But nobody can demonstrate those skill sets to me. Everybody seems to be in the place that they are, even though they say this is where I want to be, but it always takes a process. It's never instant. So, how much better could you possibly be if time is something that you have to experience? How much better could you possibly be? Because some people believe to be better than someone is a type of wealth. The pursuit of wealth makes you look down on somebody who is not wealthy. Makes you look at a group of people and say, "Oh, they're without hope. There's no hope for them. There's no sense in seeing them as someone who can be helped because they don't want to pursue wealth." Literally, before civilization occurred, the world was wealthy. You had trees that only the imagination from a writer could write about, but nature seemed to have has done it. And some people think source God, the divine goddess, whoever the fuck the name you got for him, literally made that shit. You didn't make that shit. You think y'all a little jealous that you didn't make that shit? Is that why you cut the shit down? Because it literally offended your ego? And you must destroy it. As you came upon it, you said, ah, I shall possess it. I shall own it. Okay. Hmm. In order to own something, you have to think very little of it. You have to have it in a certain mindset in your head. Mhm. That's why I don't feel for inanimate objects like I like my car. I like it. It's mine. I am a possessive person. I do like my possessions. I have specific things that I like, but I also know that they're things, they're not people. They don't have feelings, and they're not above people. Right? I really think that if we collectively opt out of being a commodified product and start going back to being a human being with, yes, individualistic dynamics as well as uh, being about group dynamics and having that all be constructive and not be so destructive all the time, be in balance and under reasonable management, that, yeah, we won't need to participate in a system that literally sees fit to commodify everything about us, including our pursuits of a construct that's not real. Wealth is not real because wealth is subjective, and your wealth could be somebody else's poverty. And there are a lot of lonely, unhappy, wealthy people. There are wealthy people who are going through divorce. There are wealthy people with kids who don't know what the fuck to do with themselves because literally they were born at the top. What else there is there to do? And then they're mad at their kids because, hey, I gave them everything and they just don't appreciate it. Why would they? Why would you? Why would, as a person who is aware and on and looking at stuff and going, yeah, I ain't doing that shit. You gave me this shit. I'll just wait for you to die, or I'll wait for my trust fund to kick in. But I ain't doing that dumb shit. I ain't doing it. Well, no, it doesn't. Because if it drove character, you would stay in that state. But you got out of it because you didn't like it either. And now you want me to go back into that shit? No, boo boo. You did money. You did money things, and you said you didn't want your children to experience what the fuck they. Guess what? We don't want to experience it. And now you think we're brats and useless because we were born into money. But now we ain't got shit. We ain't worth shit according to you. So you ain't even satisfied at the top. Now that's some bullshit. Remember when I say birth and babies? The rich have expectations for their children. Don't be low class. Don't be like the poors. You want to bring race into it, don't be like black people. Because we're the standard bottom. We're the standard bottom. We're white people, the standard top, we're the standard bottom. Even when we're rich, know your place, bitch. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Go along, bitch. We can, as much as easy, just as we gave it to you, we can take that shit away. You rich because we say it's okay for you to be rich. The minute we say we start switching shit up, then you just as fucked as we are, as the poor people are, as the people at the bottom. You can go right back. You don't think black people who are rich know their place in that upper echelon of rich people? You don't think they know their place? They know their place. That's why you hardly ever hear from them. That's why you will never have them actually get on your side. They like that money. They people. just like everybody else's people running on a psychological manipulation and mind fuck and indoctrination, literally going against their own human nature so that they can have this false thing that they had before people who think this way ever existed. We all were wealthy. We all were wealthy. We had a plethora of food. We had no homelessness because you literally could live anywhere. You walk, you move with your feet, your own energy, you sit in a space and you partake in that space. And then you move and you follow food and you move again when the food moves. Or you go and you do all the things, and everything you do is directly benefiting you. There is no middleman culture. There's no, I have to go to the store and open credit because this system says I must have credit in order to engage with this person, or I must have a promissory note, because that's what the dollar is. If you look at it, it's a promissory note that whatever this represents, this other person can have it in exchange for the goods that they're giving you. That's middleman culture. That's what's called civilization. And we don't like it as humans. At least the poorest don't. The rich are fine with the delusion because they're getting the comfort that was literally built in before those who saw that hierarchy as a value. Those who did not see themselves only sees themselves with people under them and them above them. Some people see that's wealth. See how we participate in our own demise? This is why God doesn't interfere, because we're participating in this. We're saying yes to this. We're consenting to this. And he's not going to interfere with our free will. This is our free will. We all got stair steps that we need to like smooth the fuck over, take the fuck away, and make sure no darkness has that type of access to get us to be against our own human interest, our own psychological balance. This is unbalancing. This system is unbalancing. The pursuit of wealth is a construct. It's literally a false thing. We were wealthy before all of this. You could find food anywhere. You can make shelter anywhere. All without a middleman. You just go, move, and boom. There you go. There it is. Right? And it wasn't 8 billion people on the planet. It's a nice, manageable couple of millions, 800 million, 700 million, 100 million. This is a nice, manageable number. And then people want legacy. I shall have a king, and God has sanctioned this family, these families. Okay. Like everybody else, I guess. But this was a little bit of a short one, I think, maybe. I want you to engage me in the comments. I want you to put your counterpoints and show me, give me, citations where I can go and read, and that shows me I don't have any idea of what I'm talking about. Go ahead. I don't break easily. So go ahead. Just don't troll for troll's sake. That's just not fun. That's not fun for me. Subscribe, like, and share, comment, like, and share, and subscribe. This is your hybrid helper in the galaxy. Happy galaxy.